guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm feeling so nostalgic because I actually have a special guest for you, which is of course my twin sister.
Hey y'all.
I am so glad to be with her here in Houston, Texas. She has been away for actually about 4 years now.
Yeah, and this is the first time she's come to visit, which is sad, but
yeah, I kept promising her that I would come, but it seemed like I continued to get pregnant. So it kind of conflicted with me traveling down here. But this year I am baby free.
Yeah,
as
thank
far
God.
as inside my body.
It's a miracle.
Right, I am preggo free, and I was able to travel down here to come visit her, and we have been having an amazing time. Yeah. Before I leave tomorrow, I wanted to have a quick chit chat with Mary about what we all know and love. We're talking about love today, guys. All right, and I want to specifically focus in on marriage, her view on marriage, her perspective on marriage, now that she's been married for about a year or so, okay? And we're kind of comparing notes for someone who has been married a year in comparison to somebody who has been married over 10 years, okay? All right, so we are going to start the questions. Question number 1. So Mary, what is your view on marriage now that you've been married for over a year now?
I think marriage is a beautiful thing. It's really awesome to be able to spend your life with someone who you feel like God has created for you, because I feel like that with my husband. Now, there are many times throughout Martha's marriage and just seeing other friends that were married that I felt like, man, you guys have the life. This is awesome. Prior to getting married, I feel like I had certain misconceptions. One being that it was just going to be so blissful. I was going to have the butterflies all the time. I would just be madly in love with my husband all the time. Yeah. Which I am madly in love with him, but there are some moments where he gets under my skin, but it's very normal.
Yeah, it's definitely normal.
Absolutely. And I just thought, like, I don't know, I guess I was living in Fantasyland a little bit. So I just thought we were going to have more of the bliss and less of the headache. But I guess as you're becoming one, especially in the first year, there's a merging process that takes place. The process of unifying and creating the harmony that's necessary. It's a bit of a struggle in the beginning. So because you have two different individuals with two different perspectives, two different backgrounds, becoming one, it takes some hard work. And right now we're in that phase of becoming one. We're best friends and I love him so much. Yeah. But just being able to merge our views on different things, it takes time and effort. And so we're just working to get that taken care of and making sure that before our kids come into the world, because we're not looking into having kids probably until like next year or so.
She says my kids are her birth controls.
Absolutely.
So you know.
Yeah, hearing Martha on the phone with the kids in the background, visiting. I love my nieces. I love them to pieces. But visiting sometimes and just hearing all that, just like, yeah, I like my peace and quiet. Yeah. I like just Jerard and I right now. That kind of feels nice. So before we bring kids into the equation, we want to make sure that we're continuing to build on this strong foundation that we've already established, so that when kids come into the world, that, you know, there's a really nice environment that they're coming into.
I can actually attest to that. I would say that Mary and I are hopeless romantics.
I think I am more than Martha though.
Probably, yeah. And we just thought when it came to love and marriage that there was always going to be a fairy tale free from complication. Yeah. And we both have learned through the course of our marriages that that's not always the case.
I don't even think that exists.
And it's okay. It's okay, honestly.
It's normal.
And I would say after 12 years that, almost 12 years, that marriage is about love and connection and growing together, but it is more so about sacrifice. And I'm sure you would agree as well. Like, if you want to have a successful marriage, you have to be willing to give more than you take.
Yeah. It is about giving a great deal. I feel like I give up myself on a regular basis, and each party involved should be giving up themselves. Every day you should be dying to flesh. That's something that's so necessary.
Right, so my next question.
What the heck?
My next question is JJ your soulmate?
Absolutely.
I mean, and I asked that. Some of you might think this is crazy for me to ask that, but a lot of people who are married don't really marry their soulmates. It's like, do you feel like when you watch some marriages or some couples that you're like, they ain't supposed to be together? And even in how they interact with each other, it's obvious that they're not really meant to be. Do you think that you and JJ are soulmates?
Absolutely.
And how do you know?
I don't feel like I could see myself living without JJ. Why am I calling him JJ? Like, Martha calls him JJ. His name is Jerard, and I call him Jerard, or I call him like Bub or Babe. But I don't see myself living without him. And prior to getting married, before we actually even got into a relationship, we actually sought God about whether we were meant to be. We took time before establishing anything, boyfriend, girlfriend, courtship, anything. We took time to actually seek God, listen to messages, read books, read scripture, and I just felt such peace about the relationship. And when I actually met Jerard in person, because we have a very unique story, and if you don't know our story, then you need to go watch some of our videos, and I hope Martha will link those down below.
For sure.
But yeah, we just did a great deal of seeking God about it and praying about it and talking together. Jerard and I, before we ever met, we were literally finishing each other's sentences, written and actually talking on the phone, finishing each other's sentences. It's just like we had kindred spirits, and just everything about us, I feel like it's just meant to be together. I feel like before the beginning of time, that's the guy that God had in mind for me. And through our trials and just different things that we go through, just how he responds, how I respond, and just how I have such a grace. I have such grace for him because we've gone through a lot. Although we've been married for a year, the stuff that has come our way, that's nobody but God. Because I feel like what happens at the beginning of a relationship is a precursor to what you're able to make it through in the future. Right. And so because we've gone through so much and just we've stayed together and we've like leaned in and just become stronger through it, I just know like I'm gonna be with that guy for 50 years, 80 years, like until I die. I'm gonna be with Jerard Bennett. He's amazing. I love him so much. So do you think you and Gordon are meant to be together?
For sure. I can say what she said, basically. I agree with the fact that if it is your soulmate, it has to be a God thing.
Absolutely.
When you're dealing with things of the soul or the spirit, you have to resort to God. And I would say our first year of even being together, the first couple of days, I was seeking God, like, is this guy the one? And I remember there was a revival that we were having at church one night, and I asked God specifically, is he the one? And I feel like I really feel like there was a still small voice that said, yes, he is the one. And I got such
Y'all fell in love. How quick? It was like after
we fell in love immediately.
Yeah.
It was like love at first sight. It was just like the heavens were shifting. Everything was coming together. Yeah, if you have not heard our love story, I will link it somewhere above or below. I'll put it in the description box so that you can kind of get some background on Gordon and I. And also Mary and JJ. I'll definitely link theirs as well. But it was a God thing. And I think you have those moments throughout the course of your relationship to where you question it. Then you always come back to this resolve that this is the one. You have such a peace about it. And it doesn't matter what circumstances come up or trials, you don't really waver.
Yeah, and I feel like there are markers in your relationship where it's like, okay, you the one.
Yeah, you have these milestones. I feel like more than anything, adversity is what's going to be that indicator to let you know that this guy has to be the one.
Yeah, he has my back.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. We meant to be. We rocking to the end of time.
Right. I'm not leaving. So my next question would be, do you have any regrets about getting married?
No way. I feel like I wish I would have met Jerard sooner. I could love him longer. If you're watching this, babe,
you have to see this, JJ. She's like so giddy whenever he comes around. If he calls, if I say JJ's name, like her face lights up. It's crazy.
I just love him so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't have any regrets. I honestly, like what I said, I mean, I was kind of being a little silly, but I'm for real. I really wish that Jerard and I would have met sooner. Probably he wasn't ready, and with what's happening in our relationship in regards to like how I am, there's some things that I'm noticing about myself. They're like, oh my goodness, Jesus, I wish I had known this because I would have prayed a little more for this. You can never really fully prepare for this because I think there's this notion that you have to be perfect. You have to have your finances together. You have to have just all these different things together before you actually explore, get into a relationship. And that's smart to have a plan, to strategize and all those different things. But you still gonna get in it, and there's some things that are gonna come your way. There's some things in you that you're gonna begin to discover that you didn't know were there. But it's amazing how we're able to work through it together. I more so wish that I had gotten married in my 20s. So there's kind of that bit of regret. But I know God's timing is perfect, so I'm not going to question that. But I wish I had gotten married earlier so that I would have already had kids. And, you know, we could have established those type things. You know, maybe be working on our second home. But as I stated, God's timing is perfect. And I know that where I am in my life in regards to marriage, where I am in my career, all those different things, I'm on the right track. God doesn't make any mistakes. So in that manner, I feel like, you know, everything's where it's how it's supposed to be.
I would honestly say that mine is the alternate. Mine would be that we had gotten married a little bit later, because as far as, I feel like we're in a place now where we're both trying to pursue certain things as far as our career, as far as us fulfilling our destiny. And it's a little bit more complicated once you get married and you have children and you have other obligations. So I would say if we had gotten married maybe 2 years later and just giving each other time to progress individually first, that would have made our marriage a little bit more successful. However, I go back to what you said in that God's timing is perfect.
And to shed light on what she's saying about them getting married later, they got married at 21, so it makes sense.
Fresh out of college, so definitely
y'all hadn't even really lived yet.
Not at all. So if we had waited just a little bit longer, I think that would have been definitely beneficial for us.
But I think it's just so beautiful to have that young love and to have gone through so many different stages, important stages in your life together. I would have loved to have done that with Jerard.
Definitely, but I feel like some decisions that we would have made individually, we can't make now that we're married. So
it's definitely beneficial that Jerard and I got married at the time that we did. But I think it's awesome that y'all got married as early as you did as well.
But ultimately, God's timing is perfect. That's only if we had regrets, but I'm good.
Yeah.
All right. Now, my next question is, do you believe that there is actually a fairy tale kind of love?
I wouldn't necessarily say fairy tale, but I do feel like there is a beautiful story that God has for everyone, and he's already designed the person for you. I do believe in soulmates. I do believe that you can have a love that's purposed and that is beautiful, and what is the word that I want to use? Not like fairy tale, because fairy tale seems like it's fake.
Yeah, fake.
It's like something contrived in a storybook. But I feel like God's ability to create a designed person for you is just so much more phenomenal than what a fairy tale can be.
Right.
Because that person and just that love is just gonna have Christ's stamp all over it. So the beauty of that is just above and beyond a fairy tale.
So not necessarily a fairy tale type of love, but a destined love, you know? Because with the fairy tale and even in the romance movies, we all could say honestly that it was scripted so that the best parts were shown.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's not the case with real life. Reality is you're gonna have some blissful moments, but you're gonna have some really challenging moments as well. But if you're with the right person, the person that was designed for you, the person that God had in mind for you, then you'll still make it through those moments, and it can still be an awesome moment together. It doesn't have to be this tragic, really just like crisis type situation, because you're in it together and God is in the center of it. So
for sure, I believe that whenever we watch those movies or we read those fairy tales, they already it seems like they always kind of stop it right in the middle, so you don't see what happens
after they get married, or after they say I do, after they start dating this prince or whatever. They do stop it there and they don't show you the rest.
So the reality is that you're gonna have those hard times, but you can make it through anything, especially if it's the one that you were meant to be with. Now, you talked about this earlier, but I do want to get like a clear answer from you.
What?
When are you all having kids?
Jerard, if it was up to him, he would have kids at the beginning of next year.
Oh wow.
But he would probably have kids tomorrow. But we're waiting until we want to have our house first. We want to and we're exploring that. Our lease for our new place is up in, I believe, June of next year. So we're wanting to explore looking for a home and all of that prior to having kids. But again, if God sends a beautiful baby boy or a beautiful baby girl,
she said boy first. I'm sure she'll be the one to get the boy.
If that's what happens, then I'll be excited about that. And I want twins, guys. So I'm hoping that we'll get the boy and the girl at the same time. That would be
So
phenomenal.
you can be done and done.
Done and done. We have 2, boy and a girl. That's it. But yeah, we talked about next year, especially because I'm getting, and I hate to say that, because even though I am approaching 35, we're gonna be 35. We'll be 34 this year, but next year we're gonna be 35. Okay. So I'm approaching 35. Mm-hmm. But although that's close, I mean, we're talking about God here. Like Sarah, who like she was.
So you would have a child at 40, 50?
It wouldn't be something that I would desire, but
if it happens, it happens.
If it happens, it happens. I just want to make sure we have some things together before we have kids. And so we would like to have a home first. But if we don't have the home first, then okay, Jesus, whatever you want to do, I'm open.
All right. And so you, based on what you just said, so you just want 2 kids?
Only 2.
Only 2.
Not
Martha
5.
Has 15. Sure, not 5.
Martha has a whole basketball team. She has 5 kids. That's like, I don't want that at all.
Really?
No.
Really?
Now, from somebody who is seasoned, because you've been at this thing for much longer than me, what advice would you have for someone who's in their first year?
I would honestly say to pace yourself.
Okay.
Don't expect for things to happen extremely fast. Don't have unrealistic expectations of that person. Definitely try not to hold fast to what you saw in the fairy tale. And to, like what you said, be willing to show grace at all times. Even if it kills you to show it. Show grace. And ultimately, if that person is the one, beyond what happens, what people say, hold fast to that. Don't let that go. Even if that voice that's saying that you're not supposed to be together or this is not going to work is you, hold fast to this is the one and we're going to make it through anything. And I honestly would say that with Gordon and I, although it's been 12 years, we're still learning each other. So don't get to the point in your relationship to where you feel like I've mastered this and I know everything about this person.
So consistently be a learner.
Consistently be a learner. Consistently be open and be consistent in your willingness to show grace to that person.
That's good.
All right, guys. I've enjoyed sitting down with my sister.
We have to go work out.
We do have to go work out to get our bodies right.
Yeah, we have a training session.
We do.
A little bit, so.
Yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed sitting down with my sister, shedding light on some of the questions that you may have had, some of the things that you may have been thinking about marriage or, contemplating even in your particular marriage. And hopefully it will help you along your journey in either being married or staying married. Okay? Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And go check out the video on this install and also this one. Martha did my hair this time.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
She told me life don't live here anymore, but I'm not gonna take her word for it. When it all comes down to your heart, you know that love gon' take you away.